The Americans do get it, actually. I think they see in their recession that putting money into research is very, very important. Discoveries will be made. And it's not just, research which says, this is what you've got to find out, this is what you've got to do. It's not orientated to the product. It's often orientated to just trying to find out. The Friday afternoon experiment where you try something daft, where it actually works, you try to repeat it on Saturday or Sunday, or usually Monday, and it doesn't work then for some reason. But that's the kind of curiosity world that we want to, transmit to our young people, to make sure that through the education process, that looms at them all the time, to ask the question, to try the thing and see if it works. It's often said, well, maybe not often enough, that you have to fail once, twice or thrice in some parts of the world to actually be a success. It seems to me we have a culture in Britain that if you fail, you're a failure, and they name you in the Daily Mail or wherever, you get nowhere. And I think that kind of way of thinking about research and producing things has got to change. I'm a member of the Stem Cell Foundation, which we set up. It was Chris Evans, I think it's Sir Christopher Evans. He was a good boy at the time. I think he's kind of not quite the entrepreneur of all entrepreneurs at the minute, Chris, but he set it up. And the purpose was to make sure that when we made discoveries in this country, that they stayed in this country. You will know about monoclonal antibodies and how they were transmitted across to the States and developed and so on, from the good work, the good basic blue skies work at Cambridge and so on. And many other examples too, penicillin, have gone on and been developed in other countries. We want to reverse that. There is no reason why, if we're going to beat recessions, if we're going to really take our science by the scruff of the neck, that we haven't got a process to make sure it happens here. And I think, just culturally and also mechanically, that doesn't actually take place very well. Everybody, and I've heard it for years and years and years, say that universities and industry must work together. Yeah. Great. Everybody says it, but how often does it happen? Well, it does happen. It may be getting better in certain areas of the country, but there still is a suspicion, and I think, an educational process which says, don't get your hands dirty with industry. There's still a bit of that when you talk to young students, and I think we've got to reverse that trend. Some students can come on and be very good at it. They can develop managerial skills, and that's not a major part of the university course. It may be better in some places now, of course, but it's still not part of the culture. It's still winning Nobel Prizes, getting your PhD, getting a postdoc, and doing your blue skies research and getting a paper in Nature or Cell or whatever you want to. That is still, I think, the basic culture, and that's where we've got to challenge it. I think our research councils, as I mentioned, are very important. I mean, it's a nice idea that they can decide what research to fund, for example, at bees or whatever it is. But I think, too, that we need to get some young people in some of those research councils as well, who have not been trammelled by some of the old rivalries, who are there to make sure that good research is supported, talked about, and happens. I have got lots of emails at the minute from young people who have come to this country to do MScs in civil engineering and are finding that the money is being withdrawn. And that happens, I think, quite frequently. And I think young people feel quite divorced from the whole process. When I talk to young people at think tanks or whatever it is, the question they always ask is, how do we get into this process? We want to do something about legislation. We want to be interested in it. We want to get developed in the skills of it. How does it actually happen? And it's no use saying become an MP, join a political party and it happens. That's not how it has to happen. We've got to be more savvy in using those young people who want to make a career. Now, these young people